Hey guys, so today I'm going to do a Tampa Bay versus Boston preview because yesterday Toronto lost in Game 7, 7-4, which the reaction video will be up later on. It may be up right now. I don't know when I'm going to post this. I want to post that one first, but I may post this first. So it'll be up today. It'll be up today for sure. Yeah, it's long. I was angry. My friends were angry. No one was with me. I was alone, but like all my friends were on call. We were all bitching. You'll see. I might bleep some stuff out because a lot of swearing going on. So anyway, Tampa Bay versus Boston. So first of all, I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. So round one, we're going to discuss round one, of course. So for Tampa, by the way, my nose is all stuffed up. I just like blew it, but yeah. So game one for Tampa Bay was a 5-2 victory over New Jersey. So they played New Jersey in the first round. So a 5-2 victory to make it 1-0 Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay did have home ice. So then game two against New Jersey, obviously, in Tampa Bay, and then it was a 5-3 victory. So Tampa Bay took a 2-0 series lead to New Jersey. So in game three in New Jersey, the Devils did win 5-2 to make it a 2-1 series. And I actually did want New Jersey to win because I wanted the underdogs to win. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to see underdogs win. So I was like, come on. And then so New Jersey made it 2-1. So I was like, okay, cool, you know. Game four comes along. And Tampa wins 3-1 to make it a 3-1 series lead. And then Tampa Bay came home back to Tampa. They won it 3-1 to take the series 4-1. So they took the series in 5 games. So now they scored goals for 18. And then goals against 12. Now we're going to go through the goal scorers for Tampa Bay. So Alex Killorn is first with 4 goals. Nikita Kucherov is second with 3 goals. Tyler Johnson with 2. And then Andre Palat, Yanni Gourde, Mikhail Sergachev, Ryan Callahan, Braden Point, Steven Stamkos, and JT Miller with all 1 goal. Now round 1 for Boston. So game 1 in Boston, the Bruins won 5-1 to take a 1-0 series lead. Game 2 in Boston, they took a 7-3 victory to make it a 2-0 series lead going to Toronto. So Toronto with a must-win here. So Toronto comes home, they win 4-2, so the series is now 2-1. So Toronto stayed alive. Like they would have been alive anyway, but like they would have had, yeah. So then game 4 in Toronto to tie the series, no. Toronto lost 3-1, so Boston took it 3-1, which they also took a 3-1 series lead in the series. And then come game 5, everyone's like, the Leafs are going to lose. That's it. It's going to be the Bruins in 5. My friend even said that after game 4. He was like, you know what? It's going to be what's it called? A gentleman's sweep, which is a 4-1 sweep, right? Or not really a sweep, but yeah. So a 4-1 thingy. And then I was like, you know what? Let's have some confidence. Maybe the Leafs will come back. And then I said, the Leafs in 7. So let's go on. Let's see if I was right. I wasn't. I already said in the beginning the Leafs lost. So anyway, game 5 in Boston, the Toronto Maple Leafs did survive by by making a 4-3 victory happen in Boston to make it a 3-2 series. And now Toronto faces elimination again in game 6 in Toronto, another must-win. They do win 3-1 to force a game 7 in Boston. So at that point, the series was tied 3-3. My friends were freaking out. You saw my reaction in the game 6 video. Again, the game 7 video will be up today at some point. And then game 7 in Boston, you know, a few leads for Toronto. They were all 1-goal leads. No one had a 2-goal lead except for Boston later on. So Boston ended up winning the game 7-4. The 7th goal was an empty netter. So yeah, so that obviously won the series for them 4-3. So that was the only game 7 of round 1. Boston goals for 28, and then Boston goals against 20. So, of course, 28 compared to Tampa's 18. So, obviously, Tampa scored 10 goals less. And, yeah, so the scoring, Boston was able to score more. Now we're going to go for the goal scorers for Boston. So, Jake DeBrusk and David Pastrnak both got 5 goals. Brad Marchand got 3. David Backes, Sean Corelli, David Krejci, and Torrey Krug got 2 goals. And then Kevin Miller, Rick Nash, Adam McQuaid, Zdeno Chara, Nora Chari, Danton Haynen, and Patrice Bergeron all got 1 goal for the Bruins. So that's like more like goal score wise and stuff, and like round 1 wise. So as the first and second overall teams face off in one Western Conference semifinal, Nashville and Winnipeg, the Eastern Conference second round will showcase the third and fourth best NHL teams when the dominant at both ends Boston Bruins meet the all-offense Tampa Bay Lightning, who won the Atlantic Division and home ice advantage by a single point. So once again, Tampa Bay will have home ice advantage for this series, which is important considering the Toronto game just went to 7 despite them having a 3-1 lead. And then they only won 7-4 probably because they were able to run home, to be honest. These teams played 4 times all season, but 3 of those games came in the final 4 weeks. So we can have a better gauge on how these teams match up than usual. The Lightning were an offensive juggernaut all season long and scored a whopping 17 more goals than the next best team. But where their problems can't come is on defense. The Lightning allowed the 6th most shots in the NHL from January 1st to the end of the season. More than 14... Can you guys see me well? Let me turn on the light. Does that help at all? That didn't do shit. Whatever. So, more than 14 other playoff teams, and though Andrei Vasilevsky was named a Vezina Trophy finalist last week, his numbers took a hit in the second half. Sorry guys, I had to switch my location because my sister came home, which was what I was afraid of, but she didn't come home. But now I guess you can see me better. Okay, never mind. Here we go. Finally. So once again, where was I? So yeah, the Lightning allowed the 6th most shots in the NHL from January 1st to the end of the season, more than 14 other playoff teams. And though Andrei Vasilevsky was named a Vezina Trophy finalist last week, his numbers took a hit in the second half when the workload increased. Tampa Bay was even outshot by the Devils in round 1, though Vasilevsky was excellent again with a .941 save percentage. The Bruins may not have scored as often as Tampa Bay, but they did close the gap in the second half and are the far better team on defense. Boston really can play successful anyway. They were the only NHL team this season to finish top 6 in goals for, bottom 6 in goals against, and top 3 in both power play and penalty kill rates. Boston's round 1 opponent, Toronto, was similar to Tampa Bay in how much it leaned on its offense, and the Bruins nearly ran away with that series. The Maple Leafs did fight all the way back to force Game 7, of course, but when everything was on the line, Boston's defense clamped down hard, and the offense exploded for 7 goals. That's what this team is all about. Boston and Tampa Bay had the top 2 spots nailed down in the Atlantic for months and may have been looking forward to this matchup for that long. It figures to bring us fast hockey with a ton of goals and high-end skill all over the ice. Both teams are still working towards recovering from off years a season ago, Boston being knocked out in round 1 and Tampa missing the playoffs altogether. This season, with Stanley Cup aspirations in tow, whichever team loses in round 1 will finish short of expectations. Now we're going to move on to advanced stats. So 5 on 5, Boston is 53.8 CF%, which is second in the league. A 54.49 goals for percent, which is 4th. A 923 save percentage, which is 14th. 7.82 shorthanded percent, which is 13th. And a 100.16 PDO, which is 15th. Now for Tampa Bay, their CF percent, whatever the hell that means, I still don't know what that means, is 51.62%, which is 7th. So it's 5 lower than Boston's. Their goals for percent is 57.18, which is 1st in the league, so better than Boston's. Their save percentage is 929, so 0.6 more than Boston, which is 5th. Their shorthanded percent is at 9.35, which is 1st, compared to Boston's 13th. And Tampa Bay is also 1st with 102.28 PDO compared to Boston's 15th. So now we're going to move on to like offense, defense, etc. So Tampa Bay on offense is 9.10, which is 2nd. Their defense is 5.20, which is 13th. And their power number is 7.15, which is 2nd. Boston, on the other hand, is offense is 6.96, which is 6th. Defense is number 1 with 9.21, and their power number is 8.08, which is also 1st place. So now moving on to team stats. So Boston is 23.5% on the power play, 4th in the league. Their PK is 83.7%, which is 3rd in the league. 267 goals for, which is 6th, and 211 goals allowed, which is 4th, and I'm assuming this is obviously the regular season. Tampa Bay's power play is 23.9% on the power play, which is 3rd, so just a little bit better than Boston's. Their penalty kill, not so good, 76.1%, which is 28th. compared to Boston's third. 290 goals for, which is more than Boston, which is first, and 234 goals allowed, which is 13th. Their head-to-head record, Boston is 3-1-0 against Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay is 1-3-0 against Boston. And this is also random. I did mention this already. Tampa does have home ice, and Boston had home ice last series. So round one strengths for Boston. So the top line of Patrice Bergeron, David Pastrnak, and Brad Marchand, hockey's best, was a force against Toronto, combining for 30 points in 7 games. When this line went cold on offense, even if it was still getting the majority of shots and scoring chances, the Bruins struggled. When they were on, the Bruins were dominant. On the back end, Zdeno Chara, even at 41 years old, confounded Toronto's offense with his strength and reach and was Boston's most used defenseman. The Bruins allowed just 28.1 shots against per game in round one and got 35 of their own per game, and maintaining a high level of play at both ends of the ice from the regular season that few teams can match. Round one strengths for Tampa Bay now. Nikita Kucherov torched the Devils for 10 points in 5 games. He, along with the rest of the first line, Steven Stamkos and JT Miller, dominated New Jersey and accounted for 7 of the Lightning's 18 opening round goals. Even more important in Kucherov's production was that all 5 of his goals came at even strength. But by now we know Tampa Bay's number one attribute is offense, and specifically that top line. The most important strength for the Lightning that needs to continue if they are to extend this playoff run another couple rounds is the play of Vasilevsky in net. The Lightning's defense was a troubling point for them this season. They were bottom 5 in shots against from January 1st onward, and it didn't improve much after acquiring Ryan McDonough at the trade deadline. In round 1 against New Jersey, the Lightning allowed an average of 34.2 shots per game, the most of any advancing team. The key difference is that in the second half of the regular season, Vasilevsky's save percentage was a well below average, .905. But in round 1, he was stellar again, stopping 94.1% of his shots, the highest rate of any Eastern Conference goalie. The Vezina Trophy finalist evens out Tampa's porous defense, which will be put to a much stiffer test in round 2. The Bruins' X Factor, Tuukka Rask, was on the verge of being pulled in Game 7 versus Toronto and may have only been saved by the defense in front of him, which kept the Maple Leafs without a shot for nearly half of the third period. On one hand, the Bruins netminder can play at an MVP level and steal games for Boston. He allowed just 1 goal in Games 1 and 4 when he was at his best. On the other, Rask can have bad stretches, which doesn't bode well in a short playoff series. His .899 save percentage in round 1 was easily the worst of any goalie in the second round. Tampa's top strength is its offense, and if Rask has a bad game or two, it might be enough to sink Boston's Stanley Cup hopes. The Lightning's X Factor. 3 of Tampa's top 4 scores against New Jersey came from the top line. But while secondary scoring wasn't necessarily a problem for them in round 1, it would be put to the test against the Bruins. While Austin Matthews' top line in Toronto struggled to produce against Boston, Mitch Marner and his line found great success and was a huge factor in their bounce back from a 3-1 series deficit. Tampa Bay needs to follow suit and find that same formula in their second unit with Tyler Johnson, Andre Palat, and Brayden Point, who combined for 4 goals against New Jersey. Now we're going to go to playoff team leaders. So Boston, David Pastrnak, 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points. Brad Marchand, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. Torrey Krug, 2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points. For Tampa Bay, Nikita Kucherov, 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points. Steven Stamkos, 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points. Alex Killorn, 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 points. Game 1 is going to be played this Saturday. Today's Thursday, so Boston's going to have 2 days off, while the Lightning have had a week and a half. So Game 1 is going to be Saturday, April 28th, two days from now, in Tampa Bay, starting at 3 p.m. So I'm going to be watching this series because I'm going to be rooting hardcore for Tampa Bay after Boston kicked out Toronto, because I'm furious. I mean, Boston did play a good series. They played dirty, though. I don't like Marchand. He's Canadian. I loved him in a tournament, but now I don't. Freaking Zdeno Chara is over in his 40s. Like, why is he still playing? Go home. Like, no offense, but go home. Like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, the series will start 2 days from now in Tampa Bay. So, go, Bolts, go. I really hope you give them a gentleman's sweep in 5 games. I do see this game going 6 or 7, but I think Tampa Bay will take care of it, which I will get to. So again, my predictions is Tampa Bay in 6 or 7. Why? So Tampa seems a better team. Tampa has home ice in this series, and I think they want it more. And again, Tampa has had over a week's rest, and Boston will have 2 days a rest since their series with the Leafs won 7, and it just ended yesterday. While Tampa's series ended God knows, it was it seemed like Tampa's series ended like a month ago. Sorry guys, my sister came down. Anyway, so that's basically it for this video. So I hope you guys liked it. So I'm gonna say Tampa Bay in 6 or 7. Again, why? Because Tampa has home ice. Tampa has had a lot more rest, and Tampa seems better. And plus the game, the last series, if Toronto can force Boston to 7 after being down 3-1, Tampa can too. And Tampa has home ice, which is the main reason I think why Boston had the confidence to come back. So I do think Tampa will somehow win this series, either in 5, 6, 7, I don't know. But I do see Tampa win this series. Anyway, next video I will do is going to be a round 1 review. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it just yet. My phone, my iPad, my camera's almost dead. So, I hope you saw this video. Comment your predictions down below. And again, the Game 7 reaction video will be posted later on today. Thanks for watching.